This is the talk show that takes a no-holds-barred approach to politics, where truth and integrity are the standard and the Constitution honored. From Renaissance Studios, this is Champion News Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome to another great edition of Champion News Talk Radio. We are brought to you by championnews.net, your choice for the conservative voice. This is Carol Parisi. Our founder, Jack Roeser, and myself this week have Lennie Jarratt and Michael Carbone with us. And we are going to be talking about taxes, but not just any taxes, your property taxes. So, Jack, how's
Well, let's introduce these two eminent gentlemen over here.
All right.
Tell us briefly about what you do.
Well, I'm now the editor of Champion News, and I've worked with Mike.
And your name is?
Lennie Jarratt, and I know Mike from school board. Mike's been on the school board in Grayslake, and so we've worked together on a bunch of initiatives around Grayslake and Lake County. Michael Carbone.
Michael Carbone, yes. Yeah. And I'm also, I do property tax abatement, which I've been doing for about 5 years in Lake County. And actually, there were the collar counties all the way to DuPage and McHenry as well.
What is property tax abatement?
Property tax abatement is what I come in, do an assessment of your property, and if your home says you're worth $200,000 and it should be worth $150,000 at the time, you're being taxed too high on your assessment. So we lower that back to what your actual fair market cash value is of the property, and then you obviously see the $150,000 value, which in turn lowers your taxes, your property taxes.
So you're giving...
It's a complex law.
Yes.
It's just like our tax code, Jack,
So
absolutely.
Yes, and it has its own trickiness in it about evaluations and all that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the average homeowner that's being wronged, and we're all wronged, so get in line. But there's a lot to be learned. You've been successful getting people elected to school boards, too.
Yes, I've done that, worked with...
That's the biggest spender of all. There's 60% of your real estate tax right there.
68 to 72%, but I don't want to correct you, but
That's all right.
it is higher, so I will. You'll agree with me.
So 68 to 72% of individuals' property taxes go to the schools.
Yes.
But it's for the children.
And 80% of that is nothing but salaries.
Correct.
Salaries in schools are a lot higher than you might think, especially with the so-called administrators.
Yeah.
The people on the death watch on your money.
So 80% of that percentage goes for salaries? It doesn't really go to the children, it goes to the teachers and the administrators?
Salaries and benefits and...
Benefits.
Yep.
What kind of benefits do
The
teachers...
children are only the excuse for all that money to go flowing into a really badly managed school system. The school system's terrible in Illinois, particularly Chicago. The best of our districts in rich areas don't compare with international schools. On a list of 30, we're always at the middle or lower on things like science and arithmetic and reading and so on. American schools, the K-12 system here in Illinois, pretty much stink. At high cost, we get lousy results.
But we are one of the highest paid for staff, though. We pay our teachers very well in Illinois.
Yeah, well, a lot more. I think there's one that gets $100,000 in Wisconsin, and we have, I don't know, something like 10,000 to do. There's 130,000 teachers in the state.
Yeah, I think it's 14,000 that make over $100,000 a year.
There's 14,000 of them. So, and that's for a job that entails only 170 days a year instead of 240 like a normal employment. And in the city of Chicago, their day is only, I remember I was shocked. I went to high school in Chicago many years ago, and I went in there at 8:30 and I was bounced out about 12:15. Typically their day has been about 5 hours. Other districts out here in the boondocks more generally would be 6 or 7 hours. But you know, they've extended the school day in Chicago by some fiat. Somebody's got the stupid idea that if you've got a rancid, bad-tasting omelet on your hands with 10 eggs in it, that adding 2 fresh eggs is going to make anything better. 2 more or 1 more hour in a school day in Chicago is just going to be a longer, boring dose of the same crap.
Right. But now, property taxes. Property values are going down. Property taxes are going up.
Yep.
For some reason, aren't the two correlated, or is there a disconnect with the correlation there?
No, they're actually opposite. As the assessments drop, the tax rates and stuff go up, but it's all based on the taxing bodies. When they raise taxes, your taxes are going up, period.
Why do they raise taxes?
Because they can.
Okay, but there's...
The only thing you can do anything about is the comparative thing that you're paying for your house. You can argue that the assessment on your house was too high,
right,
or nobody complains it's too low, but it all has to get even. People should realize that your assessor is not really the enemy.
Right.
He is in
Exactly.
charge.
You're absolutely true.
He's in charge of the manure spreader.
Yep.
And the manure spreader represents all of the taxes that pay for all of the so-called services you get in your township or whatever county. And so he's on charge of the manure spreader. Your assessor has nothing to do with how much manure gets put on the spreader. That's done by the spenders.
Yes.
So the real people that are evil in all of this rotten government that we get, no good government at high cost, the ones that are really guilty are the ones that put all of the crap on the manure spreader by spending your tax money. And then they come after you in your home and say, give me your monies.
True.
Well, Illinois has over 7,000 taxing bodies, where, I think Pennsylvania has like 5,000 as the closest state to us. We have so many taxing bodies that get the levy taxes every year.
So how do you do this? What is the process? Are you helping? You're helping homeowners in the area.
Yes, and I've been doing this. I do a lot of volunteer charity, as well as I turn it into a business, actually. And the thing that happened, and the reason why why I'm here today, is in Lake County and a lot of the Colorado counties, they changed the type of law and how you can practice property abatement. Now, I had a process where I'd go and do the whole appeal process for the homeowner and educate them on how to read a tax bill and explain to them where all the money's coming from. And to your point, Jack, not to blame the assessor, because it's not his fault or her fault. But there's a big change that happened in Lake County about a month ago, and it's like I said, it's happening across the Colorado counties, where there's a board of what they call the Board of Appeals. That's where typically I go to have the hearing at.
That your assessment is fair compared to the other assessment.
Right. You try to work out at the assessor level, and that always doesn't work out, and there's reasons for that, justifiable reasons. But the next step in the process is to go to the county board and go place a hearing with the Board of Appeals. But what happened here a month ago in Lake County specifically was there's 3 folks that made a decision to change the law of property abatement. And that change was, and we're finding out more and more that no one knows about this at all in Lake County. We found out last night, and it's probably less than 5% of the people know that there was a change. And the change is that you have to be a licensed attorney.
You have to be a licensed attorney to
argue abatement.
To go to the Board of Appeals and argue on behalf of a homeowner.
A homeowner can do it themselves.
You're absolutely right. But do you do your own income tax?
No.
Okay. Most people don't. They pay a consultant, not an attorney. They pay a consultant or a CPA or an accountant.
CPA, yeah.
Okay. And so the same thing with property abatement. There's publication, what's called Publication 127. It's tax code on how to assess property. Well, I'm sure attorneys don't know it. I know it because I took courses in it.
Do you have your real estate license, Michael?
Yes.
So you know how to comp out properties with comparables, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's what property taxes are based on, are the comparable, how many bathrooms,
Right.
how many bedrooms, square footage,
one of the ways.
land.
Yeah,
But he's on our side.
Yeah.
No, I know. Our side.
Yeah,
It's on the taxpayer side.
That's it. This issue is all about, is a nonpartisan issue. It's about purely the taxpayers versus the local governments at this point.
You know, when I moved my business out here in Kane County, and I bought a piece of property, and I needed to get a parking lot big enough to take my growing little company's cars. And so I started buying slivers of land and vacated alleys and quitclaim deeds and all this kind of stuff. And then they whacked me big on the taxes when I was assembling this plot. So I got a local attorney and went after it, and that was pretty much worthless. I got nowhere. So then I appealed it, and I got to the state level, and I did it myself, and I'm not an attorney. And do you know what? They were nice to me down there. and I did get a relief from the thing. So it's a good idea that the process not be made so complicated that you can't, if you use a little diligence, you can represent yourself.
Right.
Well, we're going to talk more with Michael Carbone and Lennie Jarratt about property tax abatement. Thank you, Michael. We're looking forward to hearing more from you when we come back after the break.